Yeah. Solo podcast again. Just me, Malice, Mar, Tell. Giving it like I typically would give it up. You know, that nigga, he that fuck nigga Uncle Luke, that nigga ain't here again.
Wait, what you mean? What nigga's on, man? You must have forgot I'm sitting right next to you.
Nah, I ain't mean you, Uncle Luke. I meant that other dude. Yeah, we missed you on this show. Where you been?
You know, I was just out thugging and had to deal with some crises, kinda, I guess. But damn, you know, you gonna kick it like that with me? You know, we've been doing this almost a year now, 8 months.
I usually don't kick it like that, man. But when I gotta go solo, it's just I get in this mode and I'm just fuck everybody. It's only me. But the show has missed you.
I appreciate it. You know, I do apologize, like I said. You did kick it solo.
You know, I did get the fans loved it, but I got a lot of emails and a lot of messages and DMs just asking, clamoring for Uncle Luke. I think it's just best. It's like lemon lime. You know, you gotta have a lemon and a lime for the Sprite to come together. You know, you gotta have a lean and the Sprite. And when it come together, that's the Southern Knowledge Podcast.
And you know, that's how we've been kicking it. And you know, we always gotta start off with some kind of hot topics at first. So your boy, YN Melly. I'm gonna say yo boy. I'm just
white dick Puerto Rican, dick bitch Puerto Rican. Take you out to Paraguay or California for the weekend.
Is that another
I'm a second
artist?
juvie, so you gotta bring about 3 friends.
Damn, is that another artist heavily influenced by Young Thug?
Hey, when are we gonna have the discussion? We've had the discussion about all the artists that was influenced by Kanye. And all the ones that was influenced by Chief Keef and Soulja Boy. But when are we gonna talk about the influence that Young Thug has had from Lil Keith, Lil Gotti, Lil Baby, Young Gunna, YN Melly, Uzi?
Is definitely a tree right now. I just think he's getting blown in the window because it hasn't been like 10 years or so yet.
Do you think it's too late though?
I mean, Chief Keef started 2010 too, so.
Do you think it's too late for Young Thug to ever get that recognition because all of his like children have came now and he can't really probably get that star status that he deserved, that his talent demands because a lot of people ran with his wave?
Definitely not, but maybe so because he started off strong and he's been tail-ended. Even though he's putting out great content still, like we know. But I wonder what did stop his career just from blossoming even more.
I think if I want to put something pinpoint on it, I think something that the fans love, but a lot of people hate. When he was putting out so much music, it was so hard for him. He didn't put out a legitimate album. And I know we're going off task for YNM. We're gonna come back to that murderer.
But we gotta, you know, pay due respect really.
to the ones that came before. And which a lot of these young dudes do put respect on Young Thug, and they say, look, he the one that taught me this, or he's the one I got this from. It's just a shame that the talent and the respect that he demands, it just isn't garnished to him. But to this YN Melly situation, I think this is really tragic and kind of telling of, to a degree, to the new age. I feel like people would do, if he did do this situation, which...
So apparently in the case, it was 2 murders. I think 2 guys ended up getting murdered.
Second juvie.
And he turned himself in because he was a wanted suspect for it. So I don't really know much details after that, but...
And it was, this is weird to me because when that murder first happened, I remember YN Melly putting out a video where he was saying, I don't want y'all to text me, don't do anything because you don't care. Don't hit me up in any way. I don't want any support. And that really just to me seemed like kind of fishy. And now coming to the situation now where it's like they're saying that it was an actual murder. It was they set it up to look like a drive-by shooting or something like that. I really think it's some fishy. And then all these videos coming out, everybody's pushing up the lyrics for Murder on My Mind, which actually happened. This is why I hate when the internet...
Is this another TK the Ray situation?
I know, because I feel like this is another situation like when X was killed and everybody was putting it on that dude Soldier Kid. I think everybody's trying to be an internet detective, and they're taking his music and they're trying to really put that in, trying to put him in cuffs because of that in the public opinion, which I really think is not fair because when an actor does the role of that dude in the movie Lovely Bones when he's a child predator, if something was to happen in his real life, they're not going to bring up those films and be like, well, you have a previous history of this. So why is rappers always the ones that they are always having their music or their lyrics used against them when a lot of majority say this is just entertainment?
I mean, it's more inclusive and you can say that's the role that they're acting. And of course, with artists, like you said, it can be just a role that they're acting to make it seem like they're living a life that they're not truly are or whatever. especially with this YNW Melly case. I feel like it is just another TK the race. Maybe something truly did happen. That Murder on My Mind is tough. He gets sentenced for it.
It just shows, and I hate to interrupt.
And it was number 1 on Apple.
And that's what I was about to say. I think our society is just so corrupt that whenever something like this happened, it doesn't make any sense that his sales and streams should skyrocket.
Yeah.
To where if he was doing some charity, it wouldn't. But America, we just love, as much as we say we hate the bad guy, Americans love the bad guy. They love the Ted Bundys.
Yeah, that's the story, yeah.
They love the serial killers. They love these things. So when people say this stuff and they contradict themselves by actually supporting it, I mean, look at the TK, look at the Triple X, look at the DMX, look at the 50 Cent, look at all these people that people love when they do all this negative shit but then preach this hypocritical whole thing. But I say this, if he beats this case, in which I kind of, it's always that underlying feeling that you want him to beat it because you never want somebody to be so heartless and conniving that they kill people that they say are their best friend.
Right, yeah.
But if he does beat this case, and even in the public opinion they say he's guilty or not, he's on the way up.
Yeah, true enough.
This is going to take him, like a situation we're going to talk about later with 6ix9ine, this is going to take his whole career up. And I really think it just shows another flaw of America, that we're such hypocrites. Because we want our law enforcement, or we want these bad guys put in jail and all this shit, but we still support the fuckery.
Yeah, especially when it's an artist. I feel like the same thing happened with 21 Savage when when the details about his murder case came out. Even though his was in self-defense and stuff like that, but after that, like, you can put with what he's rapping about, you can actually put it to him as well too. And we got a lot to talk about with Mr. Abraham later too. But I just feel like, yeah, it's another TK situation. When he gets out, if he beats it, if he doesn't beat it, he'll be known as a cult legend, I guess.
And that's what I think is another problem that we're going to have to deal with a lot of industries going younger. Like how the NBA, a lot of the players are younger, or in the rap game now, a lot of the rappers, like the main, the cohorts, the Interscopes, the Warner Brothers and everything, they're going to a smaller, younger demographic. So with that happening, a lot of the artists that they're, signing and everything is becoming a lower demographic. So I think when you're giving these younger artists from these impoverished neighborhoods, you're giving them all the money and everything that they ever wish for in the world right now, I think that a lot of them just can't handle it, which is why almost 9 rappers was arrested over this past last week, all in Atlanta, because I feel like you're giving them all this money and these opportunities with no classes or no any, big homie in a sense, to really tell them, like, look, don't do this, do that, roll like this, roll like that. And you got a lot of rogue, fatherless nigglets out here doing what the fuck they want to do, and it's just, it's not going to be positive, I think.
So is that how we want to jump next, or do you want to go ahead and get Mr. Smollett off your mind first? Because that was a case that you did call out on. There was some kind of bullshit going on.
Yeah, keep it going,
and 100%. So Mr. Smollett did come out with his details of the case, if y'all do not remember. The gay actor on Empire, the light skin.
And he is gay in real life.
Yeah.
I know we was having that kind of conversation last week. I mean, not last week, the last time we was speaking.
When I looked up his name, it said wife. It had a picture with him and a woman, but I guess apparently not. That's not true.
Yeah.
But it's come out in his case that apparently when he claimed that he got beaten by 2 white supremacists wearing MAGA hats, that wasn't the truth. The 2 gentlemen in question were taken in for investigation.
And I'm gonna say this, bruh. 2 muscle-bound, swole-ass niggas from Nigeria. And I'm gonna try to say their name. Listen, my African brothers, I'm not trying to butcher these dudes' names. Olabinjo. I know that shit was wrong.
Yeah, for real.
And Abimbola. Ozundario. Bro, I know it sounds like I'm dyslexic. But I'm trying to, look, we're going to call him Ola and Abel. Fuck it. They actually came out now, they're cooperating with police, and it's coming out that the police are going to turn their focus of the investigation onto Jussie Smollett. If you ask me, because on this show, I am the guy that wears the tinfoil hat. Uncle Luke is more so conservative. I'm more so I think the government did it. I really think this ties into a very popular presidential candidate, Kamala Harris.
Okay.
I think if you look at a lot of the information that she's been saying, a lot of things that she's been putting out, she just got a recent bill passed over the lynching and everything like that. And she said about this case, this was a modern day lynching. What did Jussie Smollett have around his neck?
Apparently he did. Yeah.
Have a role. I think, and then another case came out that they said they found a hot sauce bottle with a clear liquid in it, which they're saying could be bleach. Chicago don't clean their streets over the week. It was snowing when this situation happened. That bottle's still gonna be sitting there now for investigators to find it. It was so many inconsistencies, but I really think that this story and all was set up by Kamala Harris and Lee Daniels to get Lee Daniels' ratings back up because nobody watched that Empire bullshit, and to get the black vote for Kamala / the gay vote for Kamala Harris, because as she said lately, she just came out on the Breakfast Club saying she was smoking weed in college and listening to Tupac and Snoop Dogg when she graduated in 1986, and Tupac's first album didn't come out to 1991,
yeah.
and Snoop Dogg didn't come out to 1993. So I really think this is just a big agenda push trying to get some people reelected, and that's how you know shit is bad for Kamala Harris. If you're a black woman pandering to black people like a white woman.
And yeah, the two guys that worked on stage with them on Empire
was the actual people. Yeah, I think that's something we did forgot to say. The two people that they actually arrested, the African brothers, were actually extras on the show for Empire. So all in all, it's really just making them all look stupid, and it's making all of the people that believe everything they see. Because I remember when this story first came out, if you went under the Shade Room comments or Baller Alert or any of these, you know, mainly feminine situations or pages, if you even question the story that was going on, they called you homophobic, they called you racist, they called you a coon, they called you a cisgender, whatever they wanted to call you that they felt was derogatory for not believing in this story. And now everybody's coming out saying, oh, I knew this from the beginning, I knew this, he was lying. I mean, it's really just making a lot of y'all look dumb for believing everything you see.
I mean, we can pull up the receipts that my boy Malice already called bullshit off the situation to begin with. I'm definitely gonna put that bitch in now.
You got to, man.
But what I was trying to say though is just,
I'm just disappointed in this. I'm disappointed that it was contrived. I wanted it to be him trying to go out and get some secret street meat and got caught up and got his ass beat. I'm sorry, and I'm not trying. I don't want gay people to get beat up, but I wanted this dude to be going out looking for trouble and actually to find what he was looking for.
I'm about to say, so instead of it actually just being something fake, you know.
I wanted him to actually be getting his ass beat.
So how do you think that's gonna end up making him look for his career now? Somebody did say this is probably the biggest thing since OJ. You know, like something to where they tried to change the actual narrative of the topic and switch it into something else.
This is what I think is going to happen going forward.
OJ. Oh, fuck that.
I think this is going to do one thing positive. It is going to boost Empire views because some people are going to watch it. They're going to see if Jesse is still going to be in the story or what the story is going to be. People are going to watch that. If there's anything positive that's going to happen. But I'm hoping and praying that this nigga go to jail. And I really don't wish for niggas to go to jail often.
How can you just... You can catch a case for faking a crime scene?
Yeah, I think because he was lying to the, police and creating fake scenes and creating all of this fake hoopla that they actually can either A, sue or B, send your ass to jail, which I hope they do so because you're wasting taxpayers' money. If you really, what it really boils down to is you're wasting money. And I think that Jussie Smollett is a rich, fucking liberal motherfucker that think that that's smug, that think he could have got away with this because he's gay, and I think that it backfired and shot in his face like what he was looking for that night. And then I'm not trying to be malicious, but it's just, to me, I just hate when people blindly believe things, and anybody that questions or anybody that's cynical about the situation, they try to make you look like a hater or a pessimist when you're really just looking at the clues of what's going on.
Yeah, nothing added up with the story. Kind of sucks that this has came out to be. I think that Kamala Harris situation, how you brought up, could actually very well be true. Definitely need to look into that and see her influence on the situation too.
Is there any chance she can become the president?
No.
Yeah, I know with this whole...
I think that Mexican lady got more of a...
The one that was talking about the corruption of the... Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about. The one that said she has like African-born parents, but she's not black. Or something like that. She was saying
something along those lines.
Kamala Harris, I think time after time she keeps shooting herself in the foot. I just seen another picture recently of her eating like some quote unquote soul food that look like white people made it, putting hot sauce on her greens. It really just... Let's just go on a tangent to talk about Kamala Harris for a second.
I think she's pushing for the wrong vote. Like President Obama knew he was already going to get the black vote. Is she just trying to secure that? But we're only made up of what 8% of America.
I think it's like 13% to 16%. But because she didn't want to shoot herself in the foot by doing this, to think she automatically assumes that she has a black vote. Because if you ask me, I think like an O'Rourke or Bernie Sanders probably have more of a black demographic vote than she would. So I think she was trying to go on the limb and be like, look, I'm black too. But I think that game is played out for our generation because people need to realize mindsets, like when things happen, the younger generation is watching what the older people do in some degree, good or bad, and they try to base what they do off of what they don't do off that. So I think a lot of us have seen that policies and politicians, they do this same trope when it comes to black people. Oh, I align myself with y'all. I listen to the hip hop on very surface level things that black people can relate to, and they think they automatically assume to get in the black vote. And I think now voters to some degree are smarter. I know it's a large person.
Yeah, we're looking more over that than just to vote for somebody that has the same skin tone as us. Like, I really honestly didn't like how President Obama went with his last campaign. I brought it up before, of him pushing for the gay vote when he said he would instate gay marriage laws and all that. So it's more about looking at the layers of, what's actually a higher percentage instead of pushing yourself to try and get all the black votes now. Make up 25% of gay America, push for that instead. So Kamala Harris, I just don't see how someone who just thinks so archaically could end up becoming the leader of the free world anymore.
I say this, man, going forward and really just wrapping up this Kamala Harris and Jussie Smollett situation. I see the LGBTQ community really becoming one of the more stronger or powerful demographics when it comes to power in media, when it comes to what you can and can't say, more than the Jewish community. And I really think that it's going to push to a situation where everybody in society has a knee-jerk reaction and people start just saying, forget it, and I'm just about to say what I want to say and do what I want to do and take the repercussions because I'm no longer going to allow you to govern what I say. Especially when it boils all down to who you choose to be with sexually. I really think it's just being blown way out of proportion.
Not even just way out of proportion. I feel like there's, groups that need to have the more attention than what the gays are getting, to me, in my opinion.
Exactly. It's in the last.
We still haven't got reparations for ourselves.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
And on the last note of this gay situation, man, I got my feet done yesterday.
You did, really?
I got my toes done. I got a little shiny coat on top. I ain't gonna lie.
My girl been trying to push me to get a facial and stuff like that. I don't know about that.
I say this, man. Treat yourself. When I was skeptical before I went into the nail salon, I walked in there, and I want to say this. It's truly a beef between black women and nail shop workers. Every time I've ever walked in the nail shop, bro, it's been beef. Either it's an argument, either it's cussing each other out. I don't understand what's the beef between them, but every time I walk in the nail shop, I see beef between black women and nail shop workers.
What you're trying to say is the Asian women that work there. I really feel it's a job that black women can't put themselves in, cleaning people's feet and doing their hands. I mean, a select few obviously can, but since Asian women primarily make it up and they feel that's a black job, which, it technically really isn't.
Which I hate because I feel like the beauty empire, and I know we're going on a tangent, but I feel like the beauty empire in the nail salon, like the nail empire, black women should run that because they're the ones that spend the majority of the money in those things. Like, I went into a beauty supply store yesterday, all black women shopping, owned by Korean people.
Right, exactly.
I went into the nail salon, all black customers, Korean employees or Asian or Chinese, whatever it is. It's just, to me, I feel like we need to just take control of that. And I really just want to talk about that because the nigga feet looking good, bro. My feet looking good.
I was thinking about, doing a business venture in that, but what black woman is really just going to put herself in, I'm going to clean these people's feet all day and do their hands and toes and all that.
I think it's all about, it's
their mindset.
And I think it has to do with what do you think, and pride. Because a lot of people, pride won't even let them to be put in a situation where I'm beneath you in the sense of doing your feet or anything like that, or being able to take the pickiness. But I just wanted to, that was just a tangent I was going on because a lot of people was kind of, I'd say, thrown off by me getting my feet done. And I'm like, I'm thugging it. I'm going to do what I got to do.
Really? My dude said that? That just made you throw that in there?
My bitch did have a problem with it. I ain't going to lie. She did have a problem with it. I'm like, society moves at such a pace if you're 10 years behind in your mindset or something like that, I feel like everything is gonna be just so foreign to you because it just constantly changes. Like with the people with their gender pronouns. If you talk to an older person, they probably won't understand anything you're trying to explain to them about their gender pronouns. So it's just a generation disconnect, I think. But let's talk about another generational disconnect where our generation about to start getting these niggas the fuck out of here. Speaking of R. Kelly, if you haven't been paying attention, which I don't think a lot of people notice because I think this story, it should be way bigger because of what just happened with the documentary, but another R. Kelly video is out there.
Really, it wasn't just put out like that because it was just supposed to be for the case itself. And I don't know if the jury is supposed to watch this video or anything like that. If I was on the jury or anything related to this case, I would not be wanting to see R. Kelly having sex with an underage woman.
I just want to put this out there. I've never seen any of the R. Kelly videos, and I don't plan to. It's just, to me, I don't want to see child pornography.
Yeah,
it's not something that, hey, I'm rushing to see.
Like I need to see this just to form my opinion.
But I will say this: they about to get R. Kelly the fuck out of here, for real. Like, this is the straw that's gonna break the camel's back. And I've been talking about this, and I think every dude has been in a situation where you have a pregnancy scare and you like, you know what, God, if you get me through this and she doesn't have it and she's not pregnant or whatever, I'm gonna change my ways. I'm gonna do this, that, and the third. And after that, you go back to your ways. I think that's what R. Kelly is doing. He got a pass on beating 14 counts of child molestation and all of those cases. Beat that, and then this whole hysteria came out about the videos. No arrest was made, so you can kind of say he beat that. And now he's just putting himself in this situation again. And if you have any understanding of technology, nothing is private anymore. Nothing you put on these computers are private.
They go in your cloud, anything.
None of that's private. So him thinking that he can make this tape, unless it's on VHS, I don't see how he thought he could keep it to himself. And why is he still recording this stuff? Like, is it just some kind of mental thing that he has to see it again? Or is he just like, what's going on? Because if I beat something once before, I'm not going to put myself in that situation again.
Right.
So him constantly putting himself in a situation just goes to show how much his intellect musically can be genius level, but everything else is, you can say he's kind of retarded. I don't know about retarded, but
no, that's definitely a word you can possibly use because it's hard to. He's one of the more interesting cases in music history to me because how can you be such a
musical
genius but yet you're not fully there, in societal rights.
Let's just say,
but
let's
of
call
course
him
he did get, like I said, I tried to bring it up. He did get raped when he was younger.
Yeah, let's just call him a functional idiot. A functional idiot because he's able to function, but a lot of his actions that he does, it just seems idiotic to me because in so many ways that anybody with a conscious brain, anybody with a level of intelligence, one wouldn't be. Well, you can't say he wouldn't be a child.
I'm gonna say I'm just gonna say that,
But the way that he handles a lot of these situations, I feel like it could be so much better. I mean, now he's going on tour in, like, I think Austria and everything like that. If I was him, which I'd never be in this situation because I ain't no child predator, but if I was in a situation where I knew they was coming for my head like an OJ when he beat the first trial, I'm getting the fuck away from America. I'm joining Russell Simmons in Bali. I'm going to somewhere where there's no extradition laws to where America can't come get me. I'm not going to keep, I guess, trying to rub it in the American face like, look, y'all can't get me. I'm rubbing it in your face because they're going to get you.
Because that first time he did kind of mess up with the first cases that he beat. So then he started going back and trying to get the rights from the parents to allow them to come and do all that. Now after the tape, this, not the sex tape itself, but the documentary, he caught heat again. He gets brought back up into court. This comes out. I just don't see how he gets past this, like you said. He gonna be under that.
You know how I said I would go to Bali, or not even just Bali, go somewhere to where the legal age of consent is young, because in some some countries like 16. Iceland, they can even go young to like a 15 or 14. So if I'm R. Kelly and this is really what he wants to do, and I'm not condoning this shit, why doesn't he go to a country that's legal? And when I was thinking about that, I was like, could it be that mindset or the possibility that some people that smoke weed because it's illegal? Right. Because they're not supposed to do it, that's what gives them, because they feel like they're kind of being they're revolting. Is that maybe a reason why he doesn't want to go somewhere where it's legal, because he kind of likes the feeling that he shouldn't be doing this.
I do just think he's just not all there, and it's just how
He wants somebody on his intelligence level.
Yeah, exactly. So like how we just said, you can't think of being an actual child molester, but some people have that not right, but have that mindset to where they think they want a younger girl.
And it's if you look it up, and I'm not gonna put it out there because I really don't want a lot of people looking this up, but there's a lot of like actual cults or societies that actually believe the love between a child and a man is natural.
And that's not how it used to be, back in the 1700s, 1600s. That's what they
go back to the Greeks, the Romans.
12-year-olds, as soon as a woman could start having a period, that's when they would start having physical sexual interaction.
Exactly. And you know how I see a lot of people nowadays saying, oh, the black people are homophobic, black people are so prejudiced to this and the third. If anything, I feel like black people are more understanding, and if you really wanted to, you could argue that, homosexuality, child, molestation or whatever, it really is a white person's original thing. Because you go back to the Greeks, the Romans and everything like that, this is abundant in their culture. So I'm not trying to just argue and say it's them, but
this is just some foreign
history does say that. Yeah, so R. Kelly, I can't even say get some help because
that's just his mindset.
You showing this repetitive pattern so long that this is who you are. I don't really think somebody can help that.
No, I really just don't love talking about Mr. R. Kelly anymore because it's kind of a slippery slope to talk on because what are you gonna love him for his music? What are you gonna put to the side?
Exactly. And to wrap this up, I just want to quote a young prodigy that said this once before. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Tell me right now, are you coming back with me to America?
I definitely don't know where that's from.
R. Kelly said. R. Kelly was in Ethiopia saying, "Who wants to come back to America with him?"
Stop playing. That was.
I swear, man. He said, "Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Tell me right now, are you coming with me to America?" Yeah, they had the background singer saying, "America."
Yeah, it's kind of easy for me to separate the music and their personal life. Really, whatever he got going on, that's him. I'm still enjoy music. I know some people will try and say, no, you can't support him in any which way or aspect. I don't care about the man himself. If he's putting out content that I like, it's not gonna make.
Just not getting no money for me. And I really want, while we're calling out R. Kelly, I really want us to call out Woody Allen, who's not arrested, which I just seen him lately trying to sue somebody or some shit like that. I mean, come on.
One, Mr. Floyd Mayweather, 50 Cent and T.I. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't know about the situation, apparently with Gucci, we're canceling them now.
I don't want to interrupt you. Can you go back a little bit further with why the initial beef between T.I. and Mayweather happened? You know why that happened?
Oh, well, because he fucked
Tiny.
Yeah,
basically. And for Mayweather, how the M's he has, Tiny?
It's just a power pool, I guess.
You think of power just because he fuck who he want to fuck, and he like, look, I'm gonna fuck you. Come on.
Yeah.
So to get more detail, T.I. and Mayweather already had previous beef. If you go back to when they said T.I. had two black eyes, where they at though, and to now, Gucci came out with these face masks that people were saying were anti-black because they had the black face. The whole hip hop community was in a roar. Everybody was saying how much they was going to boycott Gucci and everything like that. An interview, I think it was from TMZ, caught up with Floyd Mayweather, and that's Money Mayweather dude. He said, I don't know about y'all, but I'm about to go in Gucci right now.
Cash out.
And he said he don't care about none of that. And what you can't remember, because as he's shown before, Mayweather really only cares about two things, money and himself.
Right.
So for people to try to say boycott because everybody else, Floyd don't give a fuck. Now, Floyd came out with a post later saying, if y'all really want to boycott Gucci, boycott the whole family, including Balenciaga and all this other bullshit like that. And as always, people clown him saying who really wrote this. And then T.I. came out with a diss track called Fuck Nigga, going towards Mayweather. Then T.I. went on Instagram Live saying he don't give a fuck about none of that and that he had beef with him. And you could tell T.I. was really mad because he ain't say none of the long words he usually used.
Oh, really?
He was talking that Bankhead Atlanta talk, you feel me? And all of the, I want to say this about that situation. T.I., you making yourself look bad. You looking crazy, man.
How so? How do you think?
I understand calling him out because you don't want him to rock Gucci, even though you probably spent $1 million on Gucci. A lot of these celebrities be cashing out at Gucci.
One thing is, I'll never rock designer. If I had as much money as I had, I never would.
Too many designers have came out, from Tommy Hilfiger to all these, to Timberland, saying, I don't want black people in my clothing. I mean, they've said this on so many accounts. We know that they don't like black people or don't give a fuck about black people except for the money that we can give them. Now, I think this is making T.I. look weak because I don't think he's going at Mayweather because of the Gucci. I think he's going at Mayweather because he just don't like Mayweather fucking his wife. And I really think that makes him look insecure because if a man fuck my wife, I'm a leaver. But you don't know their relationship. T.I. may have did a lot of fuck shit, so he like, look, that's your way of getting back even. Even though you know how us men are, we can do 100 bad things. Your wife do half bad things, and it feel like it kill us.
It's always like
but
that.
I think he's just really salty that anytime Floyd Mayweather say nothing, Floyd Mayweather got more money than him, so he can always throw that out there. And I fucked your wife. I mean, how much deeper can you get? That's supposed to be your soulmate. And I really think T.I. wants to physically fight Mayweather, but he doesn't have as much of the size advantage. Like, if I was to fight Mayweather,
he's got about half a foot on him though.
T.I. kind of short though, man. Still,
he's a little bit taller than me. He like 5'10", I think.
For real?
Yeah.
I always thought T.I. was like 5'8".
Nah, I don't think so. Cause I'm 5'8". That nigga taller than me.
I say if you gotta have at least a foot over a boxer and at least 30 pounds for you to have an actual chance. And that's disregarding heavyweights. This is just like that flyweight, lightweight, featherweight. These are those motherfuckers. We're not getting in the real. And don't fight any UFC fighter, please.
Oh yeah, with that.
Especially if they got that cauliflower ear. But if I was to get in the ring with a Floyd Mayweather, not in a ring, in a street fight, I think I could beat up Floyd Mayweather. And all of that, his hands are registered shit. That's bullshit, right?
No, I think it honestly is. He really can't fight anybody.
Then why did he get extra time when he beat the shit out of his wife or his baby mother?
I think that was like touch situation.
I don't know about that. I think
like
so. If somebody approached Floyd Mayweather and like try to beat his ass, he can't fight him back.
I think it's only if he hits him first or something like that. Then he can get charged extra.
Okay, well, and T.I. should know Floyd Mayweather's not giving him no fight. They're not getting. They got too much money on both of them to where they get a straight up fight. It's not happening. So if I'm T.I., I'm like this. Okay, I'm putting myself in T.I.'s shoes. Let's say in T.I. 5'8", just to let y'all know.
Yeah.
Little niggas always get tried. But if I'm T.I., I'm like, look, I gotta catch this nigga when I can, because I think it's past just the beef. This is true, like, hate, I could say, for each other.
To be honest.
If I'm in T.I. position, I gotta catch the nigga lacking. No more talking.
Straight up. You know, he do like to be on Melrose. I think that's where he was when he
was at the Gucci, like the Beverly Hills Gucci place or whatever they want to fucking call it. I think T.I. just got to get his bodyguards, because Floyd gonna be with about 6 big Hulk buster body bolster ass niggas
at all times.
So T.I. got to get at least 10 of them niggas. Hopefully they distract each other enough to where T.I. can get in and get a couple licks. Which I don't think is best for him, because young Floyd Mayweather out of shape, but T.I. like 40-something plus too.
Yeah.
With all the training, because street niggas think that boxing niggas and them are in the same realm. I don't agree. I know kind of country, but if it's a street fight, like no rules at all, who you putting your money on? T.I. or Floyd?
Maybe just because T.I. is a bit bigger.
But
true enough, what Floyd is 5'5". So, I think
it's different when you can actually grab like one of them niggas, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Floyd Mayweather can fight, but if I grab that little nigga, he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
I would put money on myself outside of a ring and a street fight like Def Jam Fight for New York or some shit. I would beat Floyd Mayweather's ass. I think I can genuinely say that without being like, I've got too much hubris or too much pride. I have over a foot on him, about 200 pounds.
There's no way he could just jump. He would have to literally jump up to touch me.
That's what I'm saying. So I just think that if I'm in T.I. position, I look, let me cut my losses and just leave that shit alone, because every time he speak on Floyd Mayweather, he's really making himself look real salty because the nigga fucked his wife.
Now about the actual Gucci situation, where do you stand on that? Like you said, the designers themselves has already.
This is what I say.
I think they don't want us in our clothes, but
I do get where Floyd coming from, where he says, it's just another week, another thing that a lot of these people just boycotting because they want attention. I agree. I don't think the boycott is gonna last. I mean, just me and Luke was in the club the other night. I did have on a Gucci belt that I purchased before this came, and a woman actually approached me and said, we boycotting Gucci. I almost was like, bitch, I don't know you. I don't know what tribalism I align myself with, or if I'm truly believe in whatever you align yourself with.
And true enough, too, I remember last night, it is All-Star Weekend, we are recording this. Giannis, the team captain for the East All-Stars, well, just his team, I guess it's called now, he was wearing a Gucci jacket himself. So, like, you did bring up before in our pre-production meeting, like, he's not American.
He's from Greece, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not him aligning himself with us. Like, that's y'all problem,
Yeah, he probably just doesn't even understand because,
exactly.
Like, I don't know if you've seen a video. I think in China, like, they actually do videos with blackface, but it's not coming from a place of maliciousness because they don't have the history of what's been going on in America. I mean, they know the history, but it's not from a place of maliciousness. So a Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's probably not even looking at it like, oh, this is my heritage that you're making fun of, because his family come from a whole different country. So when it comes to this Gucci situation, I say this. A lot of these Gucci shirts and stuff, I don't understand why it's so expensive, because a lot of these companies aren't even using the high expensive fabric that you would need to garnish the type of price. It's really just off of the name. And I'm seeing people like some rapper was burning some, like 50 Cent, which we don't have to look up 50 Cent net worth, but we know how much he's getting just from Power and everything like that. Yes, he's filed bankruptcy, but that was just to not pay his baby mother, I think. 50 Cent comes out and burns one Gucci t-shirt. That's max a $80 t-shirt, bro. What do you... I don't understand. That shirt isn't symbolizing anything except that you have enough money to where this doesn't really matter to you. And majority of the people that's supposed to be boycotting don't even have the money to afford the Gucci or whoever else this is.
That's why I'm just sitting there too. It's just me, myself. In my mindset, it's just I would never rock designer regardless of the money I would have. So it's not something you can boycott yourself if you can't truly pay for it and afford it. So really, it's really on the celebrities that we're trying to push to make them not support them anymore. But if you're thinking like a Floyd Money Mayweather, it's not affecting you. It's just something that you're trying to force me to do.
Exactly. How long do you give this boycott?
I don't even really think it's been started, to be honest. I mean... What other celebrity just came out and said that we're not just going to support Gucci anymore besides a couple of the black ones?
A lot of lower level shade room comment level people that aren't really celebrities, like the Instagram known people. I think those are the people that if do anything, and that's just for clout. I feel like a lot of things that happen nowadays in our engagements between each other and our peers is really for clout.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a large detriment to just normal interactions, because people are always looking for a way to get known or get seen or get talked about. And it's really just, to me, a brain worm just as much as capitalism is to our society, because we can't really grow, if you ask me.
Gucci truly isn't even high fashion, to be honest, anymore. It's somewhat, obtainable.
Almost Michael Kors.
Yeah,
almost.
Exactly. And it's not even just, just up there in the designer realm.
If this was a serious situation, let's say Gucci did some serious racist shit, right?
And just to think, before you say that, all the designers that put in part of this, nobody just...
Boom, right back on. Go ahead. If you want me to tell the truth, I think it's just another ploy. You know how they say all publicity is good publicity, whether if it's bad? I think this is just another situation where, yeah, right now it's kind of detrimental, but they're going to put out some fake apology, put out some fake things of being woke, and then they're going to be back on the money train like they was, if not more than before. But I was going to say this. If this was a truly heinous offense that they did, something that was really bad, that a large demographic of black people was like, look, this is really beyond, crossing that line. Do we hold people like Gucci Mane to the fire and make him actually change his whole persona, or do we just let that rock as well?
Now I am kind of thinking about it now. Soulja Boy is apparently getting the tattoo that he has in the middle of his forehead taken off. Apparently, I don't know if that's true or not.
Clout. Anything Soulja Boy does, I look at why he's doing it. Clout. But I was just thinking, would people go down to really get to the nitty gritty about that? But let's talk about, since we're talking about major corporations and humor interactions.
And I did want to bring up too, with the H&M topic with the coolest monkey in the jungle. I have honestly never shopped there since then. I do.
But I think a large conglomerate Black Americans has though.
Has
Post Monkey in the Jungle, I think a lot of people have. I mean, cheap T-shirts, cheap jeans. People always find a way to get back into that. But to another situation with a major corporation in human interactions, if you've been keeping up lately, the modern age Martin Luther King,
who?
Colin Kaepernick,
oh wow,
has came to a settlement with the NFL, undisclosed amount. Some people saying it's maybe around 50, 60 million. I don't know. But I will put out this question that I've actually really been hearing people say. Is Colin Kaepernick a sellout?
With this, it was a settlement with the NFL, so it means it didn't actually go through the court processes and that
discovery and all of that.
Exactly. So it wasn't any more true investigation going into it. Selling out would mean that he would have had to, what's the word I'm looking for? Compromise his ideas, his integrity, for whatever the NFL would have gave him. So, let's say he does go through with the trial. What is the purpose of going through with the trial if you can get 40, 50, 60 million? Apparently that's what they're saying. I don't know if they paid him that much. It'll probably never come out of the money that he's missed the past couple of years. He's not going to get that money in the trial itself. That's the point of settling.
Part of me kind of wanted this to go to a discovery and to later steps of a lawsuit because...
But what does that do to the NFL?
That's what I was saying. I wanted a lot of that information actually to come out because they have to actually get emails and phone and messages from owners and everything like that. So me personally, I just wanted to see how deep it really got to the collusion. Like how deep were people really saying like, look, don't pick him up, don't say anything about him, don't put him on any questionable rosters or anything. Like, how deep did the collusion go? And I really think this just gives the people that were saying that Colin Kaepernick, the only reason why he wasn't in the NFL because he wasn't good enough, I really think this just shows them, and not that they would actually care or actually change their opinion, but I think this really shows them like, look, this dude obviously is talented enough because look at the only person the name that should have been said in that was Nathan Peterman. Anybody that watches the NFL knows how horrible of a quarterback Nathan Peterman is, but he continues to get jobs even as a starting quarterback in the NFL. So I really think that helped him. But I say this. A percentage of that money that he did get has to, like, it's no ifs, ands, or buts. It has to go to some charity. And a portion of that has to be done for something beneficial because now he's taking himself just out of the realm of I was speaking out for people and I was speaking out for what was right. And he's actually put himself into the activism boat where he's like, look, I'm putting the people's well-being ahead of my own. And I really think that's put him in a position where he has to put his money, even though he's done it before, but on a larger scale because he's finally settled out. And now let's see how he keeps his name, in a sense, in the tabloids now that this whole situation has been squashed.
With the settlement, if it was $60 million, which would have probably just been a salary what he would have got paid the past couple of years,
as a starting quarterback.
If he goes through with the trial and he wins, and the NFL, gets whatever slap on the hand that they're gonna get, the AFA that just came up, the new football league that they're starting, how big of that would have went into it? And it said that he also wanted $20 million from them to play.
I say this, and with that $20 million, I'm gonna layer this. I think that was also almost what Kyler Murray was trying to do with the MLB when he was saying, give me $15 million. It was one of those numbers where this is such a big number. If you give it to me, I'm going to take it, but I don't think you will. So that's why I'm saying this big number. I think that's what he was telling them. He was like, look, if you give me $20 million, I'll do it. But if you don't, I'd rather spend my time doing something that's other beneficial. I seen the NFL bought some of the stake in the AAF or whatever the football league is, but I say this. I think that's just one of those situations that got a lot of people's attention up front, but it's going to slowly fade to the back because they don't have that star power. I mean, they have their top players like Trent Richardson and things like players that couldn't make it or were laughing stocks in the NFL. And I don't really see that happening. So I think this is just something that got everybody's attention right now. Ooh, football, and it's almost summertime. We haven't watched the game since the Super Bowl. That was boring. And people just invested in that. But I say this. when it comes to Colin Kaepernick, he's put himself in some shoes that he really has to stand in, because when you put yourself in that activism boat,
because they did say this was the biggest push since Martin Luther King. You are
exactly. And when you put yourself in those activism shoes, it's a lot of hardships and a lot of responsibilities that come to it, and you really have to hold yourself to a certain regard. People can't see you getting caught with prostitutes, or people can't see you doing any of the things that are quote unquote normal, but you're held to this high regard that you can't do those things anymore.
Yeah, so Colin Kaepernick, he's in a slippery slope. I don't know if he has to truly donate a percentage of his money to charity for it to back into. I don't think so, because that's the money that he probably could have made from when he was playing in football. So you saying that the money that he would have made if he would have been playing right now, he would have donated that regardless?
I think he has to, because he has so many people behind him now. And he doesn't even just support himself. Now he represents a whole movement.
Right.
So I just think he's been put to a different regard that he probably didn't estimate at first, but I think he has no problem, accepting it and going forward. Now I say this, now that he's no longer has anything to do with the NFL, does Nike still put that money behind him as one of their ambassadors and everything like that? I think Nike doesn't really do anything with him anymore, because that monetary value that he had isn't the same as it was pre-settlement.
Now, I was going to say, if you're making the case that if he's not as high as a commodity anymore, I would get that. But just because he's not, will not be affiliated with the sport anymore, doesn't mean that he's still not marketable in some kind of aspect. T-shirts, shorts, or anything like that.
And to kind of wrap that little situation up, I feel like this puts Eric Reid in a weird position, because he's just signed a 3-year contract with the Panthers, right?
So if it was a settlement that they came towards too, is he getting paid any of this?
That's what and there's so many compartments to this, because how can his case be as strong with the colluding, because he's in the NFL? And yeah, they was drug testing him every week more than anyone else. They gave him a contract extension. Or well, not a contract, he was re-signed for 3 more years. So I really think that put him in a weird position, because they're not colluding against you because you're back in the league and you signed for more years. It's just, to me, his situation is way different than the Colin. And he wasn't the main spearheader of the situation. He was just a supporter. So I feel like his whole case, I don't think he'll get much, maybe $5 million or something. But I really think where this case could have went would have put the NFL in such a bad light that they would have lost a lot of people behind it. But now that this case is settled, I think this is good for the NFL, because now they can move on, relieve themselves of worrying about ESPN talking about this, relieve themselves of worrying about more protests, and I think all the NFL players, sadly, are just going to fall back in line.
Yeah, for sure. And like we said, the NFL, I feel as though they're the ones that are put more towards the bottom. They're not really allowed to free of speech. Like David Stern tried to say with Colin Kaepernick, if he was in the NBA and he would have did this, he'd already been back playing in the NBA right now. But to say
depends on who the commissioner was, because if I'm not mistaken, I do know the man that put his fist up. And I can't remember his name, but he was a Muslim. And he put his fist up and he was pro-black.
Rauf or Muhammad or something.
And was kicked out of the league.
His American name. Yeah, he was kicked out the league. But times have changed, like we did just have a conversation about. So with Colin Kaepernick, I'm just glad, that it finally came to its conclusion. I just want to see what he does further on.
And to wrap this up, I want to say this. I do have respect for Colin Kaepernick, because any man to me that can have some integrity and have something to stand up for, and no matter what, be like, no, this is what I put my feet down about, and this is what I decide to stand up for, regardless of what happens. You always can get that respect to me, no matter what you're going for. If I'm pro or against it, you get that respect because you was a man about it.
Now, something that I'm going to have to let you mostly carry on, which is something I didn't even know recently, that Mr. Trump has called a state of emergency for the time being. What is that about?
Now, look.
It was after the 15th that he said he was going to shut down the government
and shut it back again.
So is that part of it as well, or what? What's happening?
Now, look. On the Southern Knowledge Podcast, we give you the information you need, not the information you want. And I think that's mainly because we don't have all the information. Now, I'm saying that because I've seen a lot of people talking about Trump when he was saying he was going to start this, he was going to get the wall. He just tweeted yesterday, like, building the wall. And they were saying that when he starts, he's going to get a lot of lawsuits and everything like this. I say this, man. If I'm Trump, move on, man. I don't see this wall coming together. I don't see them getting the funding for it. I don't see them being able to get all of the land for it. I don't see them being able to keep the costs right. I don't see them do, and even if they was to start the process, I don't even think he'll be in office anymore by the time they finally finished it.
That's what I was just gonna say. For a presidency, since 2020's campaign is fixing to start already, it's already been 3 years almost, man. He's been in office.
Mm-hmm.
Most presidents, if they get anything huge done, like Obamacare, the healthcare plan that Obama instated, that was done within the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
George Bush, when he had set those plans for whatever he did, that was in the first 2 years. Trump, what has he done in the first 2 years? Nothing. It's on the back end of his term. Usually nothing ever comes out that fast within a year and a half for it to go through the courts and for everything to get changed to Supreme Court. I think this is what he's settling on because he was hell-bent about it when he first started this campaign. Nothing happened the first 2 years. Okay, I'm going to shut down the government. I'm going to call a state of emergency to try and get something done because I don't think he's going to be reelected for 2020. So he's trying to get something done before his time is up. That's all I feel.
And at first when Trump, like the first maybe a year and a half into the presidency, I was like, man, I think this dude really might get reelected because his fans and his followers and supporters love him so much. But as his presidency been going on, I would say this. That's what I'm saying. I think his presidency will it won't be much memorable. The only thing that'll be memorable is that the first reality star became a president, and I think it's going to change going forward. Who actually believes and doesn't believe they can become a president? If you have enough money and backing behind you, like an Oprah or something, I think that you can get it into office. I say this. If Trump doesn't get this wall put up, he will be a forgettable president, and he won't be talked about.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
And I really think he set it up. I think he's. If you are such a bad president to a lot of people that you can make Bush have some positive memories, I think he's setting the bar so low that the next president won't have to do anything and will be held in such a high regard. Which I think that our next president will be a woman.
You think so? So are you pushing for Kamala or are you pushing for the Hispanic lady that already came out of here?
I don't think Kamala Harris...
Yeah, go ahead.
Kamala Harris doesn't have the backing. She may have the complexion for the connection to some black people, even though she probably doesn't consider herself as black if you ask her behind closed doors. I don't think she has it behind her. I think Bernie Sanders has a gut.
I would love to see Bernie Sanders, but he's a bit old. He's old. Die.
He's old as hell, so I don't think a lot of people are going to handle him. And I think O'Rourke maybe has a large following behind him, but something about me feels like it's the years of the woman. Women are saying hear me roar, and they're about to get a woman. I think a lot of white female voters are finally gonna unalign themselves with their counterparts and finally vote for a woman and go against the conservatives and go Democratic. And I don't know how much change is going to come from it, but I do think that is what's going to end up happening. I just don't see.
So we do need to put that on watch. But with President Trump, with the facts of everything that's going on in the news, I don't like watching CNN. My mom watches that 24/7. It's just, they put out there what they want you to hear and say. Even though they do have a lot of free thinkers on there, liberals, that give their opinion about President Trump. Oh, roll your eyes, really, huh?
Man, that's bullshit to me, man.
Really?
I think that liberal, conservative, Democratic, Republican is just pieces of the game to keep the common person head down, worrying about the next step in front of them, and they're like, well, I can't go with that because I'm conservative, or I can't go with that because I'm liberal. And I really think that's just another way to separate people, just like sexism, racism, ageism, classism, and everything like that. It's just another ledge between people that are probably have more alike than they do difference, but they just have these steadfast mindsets to keep them separated.
True enough. It's just that I would like to hear their opinions on it. Or maybe I can just read the tabloid itself, read a little bit of it just on the website, and then form my own opinion. Mm-hmm. But it is nice to hear, what a conservative, what a liberal, what a Democrat, or Republican honestly thinks about the situation going on. But what I wanted to ask you, though, is that I know you didn't end up watching the video, but Bill Gates, the second wealthiest man on the earth.
I'm a healthy believer in eugenics, if you don't know.
And also, what's the word when you're donating a lot of your money towards charities? And
you say humanitarian.
Humanitarian. Bill Gates, he has put in billions.
But honestly, he also is a firm believer in population control. He put that out there as well. And he is, and I don't want to keep it in down
in the man, boy. Go ahead.
He is a high part of the 1%, right below Jeff Bezos.
I was say he is number 2. He is the second wealthiest man in the planet.
So let's take whatever he says with heat in it.
But he did have an interview, and he was talking about the distribution of wealth and how he thinks it should be. And he says if you, Trump tries to claim that he's still a billionaire, which I don't
believe so
anymore.
Well, if he gets this wall put in place, I think he will be.
But he said that the way the tax system isn't now, like I think it was a situation of the Jeff Bezos and the Amazon situation. If you could spread more light on that.
If you don't know, Amazon grossed $11.2 billion this past year. And I'm going to give you a second to estimate or guesstimate how much money that they paid in taxes. Let's see.
Now, if it's supposed
$0,
to be 30%,
they paid $0 in
8% for us. 15%
Why niggas like me,
bracket.
I ain't even got my income tax yet. This nigga paid $0 on $11.2 billion. That's why I think capitalism is built to eat itself alive, and it's a brain worm. And I know the people that actually love capitalism already have their money, but for people like me that's still broke and sees that we gotta eat the rich. I mean, I'm sorry.
Isn't this a self of capitalism itself though? Us doing our podcast and hoping that it breaks us out of that shield of working for a company and all that other stuff and making our own money on our own terms.
What capitalism does is it puts you in a position where you have to get into the race if you want into the rat race if you want any comfortability in your way of living.
Get out of the rat race.
Almost, I have to be the only one that makes it, or I have to be the top dog. I mean, nobody wants to be the lowest person on the totem pole, but with capitalism, somebody has to be in that position. It always has to be somebody under the boot. Therefore, the person that's in the shoe can actually be comfortable because they're stepping on you to stay in the place that they want to be. That's why I feel like it's the ultimate problem with capitalism. And you can call me a millennial, you can call me a new age person that just want to go against the establishment. But I truly think that this way that we're living and governing each other, it just continues. There's no reason we should have privatized prisons where people make money off other people being in jail, which is causing people to have quotas, which causes non-violent offenders to be put in jail. It's so many ways. It turns humans from being people into being commodities / products. And I really think it just it's a detriment to society, even if some people, the 1% can get rich, the other 99 is sitting here like, when is my next meal coming?
But the capitalism that they are pushing towards us, that was the thing that we were supposed to inherit, our generation. But now that we're fighting back on it, what do you think is the right situation? And what I want to say about Bill Gates is what he thinks over a certain threshold, he said $1 billion, that they should have to pay half of their money in taxes.
I mean,
for the country.
As long as the rich businessmen can lobby on what they want to be passed in the bills that they want passed and pay money to the politicians in the Senate and everything to get what they want passed, this system is never going to be fixed. I was just watching one of the videos of one of the ladies, I think you said could be a possible candidate, and she was showing just how corrupt you can be as a president, and there's no rules you can't touch, there's no laws you can't change, there's no amount of money that privatized people can donate or contribute to you. It's just so many wrong things that you can have behind you and still become the president that shows that this way of going, I mean, yeah, we have some comfortability as Americans, but I think we have to swallow our pride and be like, look, we need to change some of the shit that's going on because it's not built to last.
So you would think that a even playing field of, what's that government called, of everybody getting paid the same amount, or also too the government paying out those checks, the $2,000 a month checks for everybody.
Oh, the universal basic income?
Yeah, universal basic income.
I think that'll happen more so when a lot of more of the jobs are more robotic and taken over by a lot of those things. That's when people will be on that, because products are based off of the work that has to be done to make it. So if there's robots doing the work, that means the price can go all the way down to where you can give this universal basic income and actually have somebody be able to live off of it. But the way that the top or the rich think, I just don't think they'll do it with all, gratuitousness or love or looking out for people. I think it'll be something with a lion in sheep's clothing, a wolf in sheep's clothing, to where we think it's something that's good for us and it actually bites us in the ass.
I feel what Bill Gates said could come to pass, and look, if the billionaires are paying half of what they make to taxes to the country, what are they going to do with that money? They could just use that money towards the universal basic income if it comes out into fruition that AIs and they can get, you know, computer programmings to do most of the jobs now. If they're paying half their taxes, the money that they make for taxes, then it could go to the universal basic income. Like Mark Zuckerberg said, he think that's the direction that we have to go with in our country.
I think Mark Zuckerberg is a shrill, and I think Mark Zuckerberg is a fucking living
lizard something like that
in a human artificial body, and I don't think he's a real human. And you can call me a 4-rap, 10-rapped head, a conspiracy theorist, whatever you want to call me. I just don't trust people. Like the way Mark Zuckerberg looks, he looks like if you took a human embryo and put it in some kind of vacuum chamber and let it grow without any kind of human interaction, and then you showed him all mute movies and everything to try to show them how humans interact, and then you put him in the real world, and that's Mark Zuckerberg that doesn't understand other people or human interactions, just X's and O's and stealing all your information on Facebook and selling it to big corporations.
I'll let you have that. I ain't gonna say nothing about you with that. Mark Zuckerberg, he's cool with me if he thinks the universal basic income is the way to go. And then, you know, also still having your job too, to where the only way that doesn't work, the government will flourish. The economy will flourish with that. So, you know, I'm gonna let you have that against Mark Zuckerberg. That's your only opinion that you felt about him.
Yeah, man. Let's go to some other nonsense. Let's talk about a little baby mama bull crap, man. 6ix9ine's baby mother, Sarah, has came out. I think this is one of her first interviews, you could say, with Vlad TV, and she came out and was throwing a lot of word jargon that she read as a paperwork. Which, if you ask me, it sounded like she was dyslexic, like she couldn't read. If you listen to the video, she was mispronouncing words, not knowing how to use it, but trying to say, if you read between the lines, saying that basically she thinks 6ix9ine will get out with no jail time. Now, I don't really think that's how plea deals work. I think you take a plea deal and yes, they give you a less amount of time, but do I think 6ix9ine is going to get out scot-free? The only way I think he does that is if he was an informant to begin with.
Yeah.
Like if they put him in a lot of those situations to get a lot of information, that's the only way I get out. And if he does that, he's going to get out on an assumed name, Sergio Martinez.
Be living
in West Colorado, working at a dispensary, and that'll all we'll hear about it. We'll never know of a 6ix9ine again. And I think that the Treyway guys would never be able to touch him. That's the only way I see him not getting any time.
So yeah, this Vlad interview, I feel iffy about it because as his baby mother, I really think it's just because she's not getting paid.
And she's talking too much, man. Yeah. I think 6ix9ine really got the info and got the dime that she was cheating on him with his friends, and I really think she's trying to find any way to grasp onto something to stay afloat in some kind of cloud or something like that. I think she'll be doing a reality show soon, and once everybody's like, okay, we're done with this, she's gonna be on with her way, and nobody's gonna care about her anymore. And I think that if 6ix9ine does any time over 2 years, that people are gonna forget about him and not really care. And I think that we're going to stop talking about the situation because I'm just tired of it, man. I mean, me personally, I understand if all those people did those things and they actually tried to rob him, I understand. But the man that I am, if I go into a situation with somebody and I say, look, we about to get our hands dirty and whatever we do, look, I got to take that to the chin like a man because I put myself in this situation. Nobody forced 6ix9ine to be 6ix9ine. He wanted to be in the rap game. And so I think all of the consequences that's coming his way, he deserves.
Yeah, with that, to his baby mama, first the situation I thought was kind of like big for hip hop in itself, but now it's just coming out to be a whole cluster mess of everything with his baby mama putting in her 2 cents and then coming out that the crew was going to end up eventually killing him anyway. It's just too much underlying factors in it right now for us to actually put time into it to happen anymore. If it comes out that he's not going to end up getting time, like you said, he's going to be under CIA watch.
Exactly.
He'll be living in West Virginia. But if not, can he get out? If he gets some time, can he get out in 2 years and just live a normal life and try to be 6ix9ine again?
I think that's what he needs to do, man. Stop worrying about this rap game and move on to something else. But I say this story has just gotten me more into the theory of objectivity by Ayn Rand. I've really been getting into her and starting to read into it and just put that human and man does not deserve love. He has to earn love. And it's not just given, and I think that self-interest and self-love should be the #1 thing that people care about. So, under that mindset, I mean, I can't blame 6ix9ine for looking out for himself, but I do think this whole situation is just messy, and I don't think we've seen the end of it. But let's talk about something else, man. I'm tired of talking about 6ix9ine.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of like the same situation with
let's talk about some slight coonery. I think most black people, if you've been on social media, you've seen that little spat between Steve Harvey and Monique about the whole situation that was happening. And Steve Harvey was basically saying you got to pick and choose your battles, and part of the money game is knowing when to shut up and everything like that.
Says the man that finally got his own TV show after forever.
And was crying because he think he's about to lose it. But I say this. If you know Steve Harvey, you know he's done a stand-up bit where he said for $4 million he'll act like a monkey. He doesn't care what black people say because he'll be the best monkey that you can imagine. And Monique was on the other side of the spectrum saying, you know, integrity should come first and all this, that, and the third. And I really want to call her out on some hypocrisy because I feel like the only reason why she's taking this stance on integrity is because she can't be in the money game anymore. I think that Oprah and them really blackballed her, and she's finally came to the realization that, okay, yes, I got this residency in Las Vegas, but I can give up my dreams of being in any movies, anything, because I blackball myself, so let me stand on my integrity. And I think it's just her just taking only one of the last routes that she has left. I think it's BS on both ends. I think anybody that really gets into that mainstream Hollywood game, you have to compromise yourself on some degree and lose some of your integrity regardless. So for Monique to try to be on this soapbox now, I think it's just too little too late.
I would say, yeah, if that was the point she was trying to make. If you're crying still over that Netflix deal, how Amy Schumer can get whatever this amount of dollars and you're only getting offered this, and you were one of the original queens of comedy, that doesn't matter anymore. Then you should have, if that was your ideal to get paid what you think you should be owed, then you should have done this way long ago instead of trying to be almost a 60-year-old Monique trying to get more stand-up shows to do. So.
Yeah, man. Look, I just say this. If you're listening to the show and me and Uncle Luke ever become mainstream, big time famous, one thing you can account for, me, Malice Martell, I'm always going to be who I am. I'm not compromising who I am. I mean, I can come to a situation and be like, okay, I won't be as this or be as that. But I will never, ever, ever compromise my integrity or who I am as a man or who I am or how I was raised just for some monetary gain. It'll never be that important to me, and it'll never define who I am.
And now Steve Harvey's side of the aspect, like I said, the man who's finally got his TV show after he's wanted it forever, who just now got in the show business at the age of 35. I can 100% see where he's coming from because that's, you know, what's made him, what's, you know, paid him, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
made
Steve Harvey is a professional bootlicker. I have no respect for him, and he's the opposite of Bernie Mac, and I wish Bernie Mac was here, and I wish Steve Harvey was the one that died. And I'm sorry, you can say I'm being malicious, you can say I'm being, you know, not having a heart, but I just truly feel like people like Steve Harvey does more disservice to the black community than positive, because yeah, you're giving, and he said this statement, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. He said, the only or the best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them. And I, to almost disagree with that situation. Because you don't have to have money to lead the poor people to where the promised land or where they need. This has been the Southern Knowledge Podcast, back in action with Malice Martell and Uncle Daddy Luke. This is our longest podcast to date, man. There was a lot of shit that.
And it was just only a couple of topics. It wasn't like, you know, Tim usually got 10. I think we had 8.
We really just got deep into these things, man. We back in action, and me and Luke had just made a dedication to. We about to really put our heart and soul into this podcast now. Luke, I was just listening to our episode 1.
Right.
The first episode we ever done. This is one we never put out. This is when we were talking about Childish Gambino. And as much as we've grown over these couple months, I really think that the potential that we really have for this podcast can be through the roof. And we're really going to dedicate ourselves to really bringing the content and bringing everything and all the aspects we need to really turn this into a mega movement.
All in all, not the same time. But yeah, I'm definitely with it in the same aspect, especially what I was going through right now with myself in my personal life. It's more so of me focusing on trying to put my own time into something that I want to create myself and not, you know,
what you're forced to do.
Yeah, exactly. So the podcast is the movement. Like, comment, rate, subscribe,
and don't forget.
Your opinion.